How to remodel a kitchen for a family of 4 generations in just 1 week with mostly volunteers? And how do you make sure it still looks good and holds up without cutting corners? In this episode of Kitchen Remodeling Success Stories, remodeler Elan Wright of the Way Woodworks in Callahan, Florida, shares how a 1 week volunteer-driven kitchen remodel brought tears of joy to a Georgia family living in tight conditions. And stick around until the end when I'll reveal a bonus tip about how other pros finish full kitchen remodels in 1 week using smart planning and great teamwork. Now, let's hear from Elan about this kitchen remodeling success story. Better clients, better kitchens, better profits. Welcome to Kitchen Remodeling Success Stories. Learn from the most inspiring kitchen remodelers, one success story at a time, so your business can be a better kitchen remodeling business. Hosted by blogger and podcaster since 2006, Jacob Scher of Scher Select Media. All right. Welcome to this week's episode of Kitchen Remodeling Success Stories. Today, we are talking with Elan Wright of the Way Woodworks from Callahan, Florida, and he's going to tell us about a terrific kitchen remodel of his that was done in the past year. Elan, welcome to the call.
Hey, well, thank you for having me, Jacob. This particular kitchen I want to talk about, it's actually did this kitchen for completely free to the homeowner. It was pretty much don't like using the word charity necessarily in this case, but it was kind of a charity thing. It was a missions trip that a group of people go out and do. It's in the Douglas area,
Beautiful.
and we go out and pretty much people that are in need that need fixing up their house, or they they can't do it themselves,
Right.
or whatever. A lot of unexperienced people come out and help fix up the house. And so this is one of those cases where you know the kitchen was a little dilapidated. They had I believe it was 4 generations living in this like 1,500 square foot home. Some soft spots in the floor, and it was fantastic. It was a super awesome time. I loved every minute of it. It was my first year being able to remodel a kitchen through the program.
So that's obviously a beautiful initiative. And so it sounds like this was a group effort, like your team or you guys were leading the project, but other people were helping you, like a community project sort
Yeah,
of?
yeah. So the name of the organization is Camp 151. So there's the director of the camp and a bunch of other administrators and volunteers. There's a bunch of background going on, which I wasn't really a part of. There's also a few different sites. I think last year had 7. Don't quote me on that. Uh, but yeah, I was just one of 2 site leaders on this particular site. And yeah, we just got to work and started doing some stuff. So there was a little bit of setup in the beginning, but it wasn't too bad.
Okay, so you guys, how did you find out about this specific kitchen or this specific family to help? It was the organization just said, okay, they need help and that was it? Or was it more involved than that?
Yeah, people apply to get help, and it's kind of like a word of mouth. I'm not sure exactly how they go out and find people to help, but I'm assuming it's like a word of mouth in the area. Um, and I pretty much show up, and then we walk around all these different sites at the beginning of the week. And nobody knows where they're going for the first couple of days, and then they pretty much
Yeah.
saying, "Hey, you're going to this site, and you're the site leader or the co-site leader, you know." Or you're just there to enjoy, get to know the homeowners, and help help where you can.
Okay. And so let's talk about the process a bit. So the location is decided, you know which family you're going to be helping. Now you have to, like you said, you got to sit down, talk with them, get a feel for what's possible in this space. Tell us a little bit about that. How about your process there?
Yeah, so this one I kind of had a little bit of more insight this last year. Being said, it was just like a hey, since I do cabinetry every day, the director reached out to me and said, is there anything we can do to get some cabinets ready to go? Maybe just get them ready to assemble and so we can put in for a specific kitchen. So I reached out to it was just a semi cabinet or semi custom cabinet supplier that I use quite often. And, we worked out a price that was awesome for the nonprofit. And, I knew I was probably going to be put on the kitchen, but I wasn't sure exactly what site. So, you know, and they gave me the nudge, and they're like, "Hey, you should really pay attention to this one." And there was a bunch of stuff to do, some drywall throughout the whole house, and some soft spots on the floor, and a bunch of other stuff.
But specifically with regards to the kitchen, so do you like you sat down with the family or the couple and discussed what their needs were, or how did you decide exactly what you were going to deliver ultimately? Where did the plan come from? I suppose.
So that was more done on the administrative side of the camp. They talked about the remodel, and obviously we sat down, we met with them. We talked to them about what their biggest concerns were and what they were hoping to achieve in the 1 week, and um, things that really needed to be prioritized to get fixed. And obviously, the kitchen was one of them. We weren't really changing the layout or anything of the kitchen, just refinishing and replacing some of the cabinetry and stuff like that. Um, so that was kind of all done initially.
And was there something that they were specifically either emotional about, or there was something that they really wanted to emphasize to you about the changes or the new work?
Um, uh, not any specific changes they were looking for. I think they were just looking for nice or just new
Yeah,
cabinets that had the state of
a
the kitchen was
refresh.
a little rough. So maybe some cabinets that didn't have bugs in them, or
Right.
had doors on them. Or weren't, how MDF kind of explodes and expands. Just something that was a little more put together and functional.
Right. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Makes sense. They want to up the standards of the kitchen for sure.
Correct.
Uh,
Correct.
okay. And so once you guys had a good idea of what you could do with the space, you were only working in the kitchen for 1 week. That's it. You only had 1 week to do the work.
We were in the whole house for 1 week. It's 1 week out of a year. That's all we get. The initial setup was, let's get these cabinets and we'll get them ordered and delivered to someone another business that was there in town that was willing to accept the delivery. And that
Okay.
was that was it. As far as I knew, it was walk on site and get everything done as much as you can in 1 week.
Wow. So that's pretty short, right? I mean, normally you'd spend more than that.
Yeah, yeah. The normal kitchen model for me is 4 weeks if everything goes great and we're not doing fully custom, to 10 weeks if it's a nice big kitchen, or something like that.
Okay. So this is really fascinating. And so this 1 week time frame, let's talk about the challenges of making this happen. So what kinds of things did you have to do up front to make this happen, and what kind of compromises did you have to make to fit everything in that 1 week?
Yeah, there's definitely some compromises. Definitely some things that, especially for me, attention to the detail and everything like that is, especially with cabinetry, you gotta make sure you're on top of it. With this is like, how much can we get done? Some things aren't going to be perfectly beautiful or, um, amazing, and like you get into some of these really nice houses, but it was just there was the not a lot of setup. Besides ordering the cabinets, is you walk in. All right, let's take these cabinets out. Let's start demo day one. Uh,
Yeah.
ripping out flooring. Cutting holes in the floor, to replace subfloor, and that's more or less it. A lot of trips to Lowe's, but it's a bunch of I think we had like two guys who really knew what they were doing on that site, and we had, I think it was like six, between girls and guys who really don't have any construction experience besides this 1 week out of the year. It's a lot of labor, a lot of fun, but a lot of labor, and just trying to keep going.
Okay. And so yeah, that's also another challenge is you're using non-professional workers with you as well. I guess that doesn't usually happen.
No, no, it doesn't usually happen.
And so how did that make things challenging over the week?
Um, well,
Anybody get injured?
no injuries. There was because the house did have a few bugs in it. So when we were ripping out the cabinets, the ladies that were on site with us that week, were, "Ah!" So, uh,
Yeah. Hey, I get
um,
scared
you
of bugs too sometimes.
hey, to be fair, I don't necessarily love them all the time either.
Right.
Um, so yeah, and then we don't we not a lot of people knew what we were doing. So it was like, this is what we're gonna try to do. We're gonna try to refinish these doors, and so we're gonna take them off. We're gonna take them outside. We're gonna sand them down. And so we ended up not sanding them down. They went to spraying down the cabinets with putting the primer on and the new paint. Ended up just peeling off because there were the thermofoil doors, which is just pretty much a plastic vinyl wrap on an MDF door. So we had to peel all the paint off and, sand them back down and repaint them, which, takes up time, but we had,
Like, those are
nine,
the
10
new
people on site.
cabinets?
No, the old cabinets. We left the wall cabinets, on the walls because they were in pretty good conditions, all things
Okay.
considering,
Okay.
and we replaced all the lower cabinets.
Got it. Okay. And do you think, looking back, do you think that it would have actually gone faster if you hadn't had the, um, I don't know, day laborers or whatever you want to call them, the non-pros with you? Were they impeding you? Basically, is what I'm saying.
So it's a real struggle,
Yeah.
like, for me, because 'cause I'm like, I wanna, kinda move fast, but, like, it's one of those things where, like, I gotta exert my patience, during this mission trip, and I gotta slow myself down and, like, work with everyone at kinda, like,
Right.
their speed. If I can help everyone there, help the homeowners, then everything kinda goes a little bit more smooth.
Yeah. I mean, at
If
the end of the day,
yeah, sorry.
no, I was gonna say it's so nice that this community effort, and so it's kind of a necessary evil, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I definitely think, me and one other guy who really knew what we were doing probably could have done it in a few days less time,
Yeah.
maybe.
Right.
But it's we're just trying to do the Lord's work, and Lord
Right.
willing,
Yeah.
it gets done in a week. We've never had a issue where we couldn't, fix the house in the time that we have.
Okay. And so, just to circle back a little bit, compared to a regular remodel, what other compromises did you have to make? Maybe even stuff that you would normally do after you finished. I don't know, but what else was different?
So there wasn't, well, there wasn't really a lot of prep work. So Um, we weren't taping off rooms or building plastic walls anywhere to keep dust down. We were ripping up the flooring pretty much in the whole house. It was an old carpet. We were putting down new laminate, so we didn't really have to worry about it. They were living in the four generations were living in the house as we were doing this. So,
Right.
we had to make sure everything was, cleaned up and safe at the end of the day, just like any other project. But um I don't know, everything was just it's so different from, like, the normal remodel process, but I mean, it's pretty similar, except you don't have to worry about, subcontractors, plumbers, electricians. You just rip out the drywall, you say, "Hey, you 2, go over there and start screwing some drywall on or start
Right.
mudding. If it doesn't look good, we'll fix it on the 3rd coat."
Right. Carrying out stuff to the dumpster or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, well, it was a big trash pile, and then, we get a dump trailer one day out of the week and toss everything into it.
Right. And so, were you guys working just a regular 8-hour day, or were you actually going into the evenings because you only had 1 week to get this done?
Oh, yeah, there was several days, or there was a few days where we worked into the evening. We get up early, I think breakfast starts at, like, 7:30. We get
Hmm.
to the job sites, usually right before 8. We get to it right away, and we break for lunch, go back to the church where we're staying, eat as all we can, and then go back to the job site. There is a dinner break, and, I remember a few of the site crews, you know missing dinner a couple of days. We always got
Yeah.
there. We had to go back, I think, for the last day to do some little extra things just to
Touch-ups.
make everything, look nice and a little more functional. But yeah,
Wow.
definitely probably more than 8-hour days, probably close to 10.
Right, right, right. And so, I mean, yes, like you said a minute ago, they were in the house, right? Uh, so fortunately for them, it was only a week, but it was still a week, right? So did you have to prepare them up front just for the noise, for the dust, or whatever? Or like, how did that go? Were they okay with that?
Um, Yeah, they were I think they were just so excited because this
Yeah,
is, a huge blessing for them. They're like, "Do
sure.
whatever you have to do, and, if there's anything we can do, let us know." And it's like one of those things like, "Nah, we got you. This is your week, to deal with us, and then you can, for the rest of the other 51 weeks out of the year, you can enjoy your kitchen."
Awesome. Was there anything, or rather, what was the most unexpected thing that happened over the course of the week?
Oh, so I wanna say it's
Did you
unexpected,
find
but
a
it
pot of
kinda.
gold under the sink or something?
Oh, no, 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 no pots of gold, just, maybe some bug nest,
Right.
and stuff like that. But, you know, finding toys underneath the cabinets was, cool. We got bombarded by our other crew, the other sites and the other crews. At some point, water balloon fights and stuff like that. We try to keep it fun as best as we can. Nothing Nothing so unexpected for this particular type of work that I wouldn't be too surprised. Overall, it's super smooth.
Okay. And when things were wrapping up, and they must have been checking in every day to see how progress is going, right?
Oh, they were right there in the living room. The kitchen's here, living room's right over here. Half the time they were hanging out. Usually one of the kids were playing with one of the people on site. It was They were always they were always there. It was super cool. It's one of the
Yeah.
benefits is you get to learn about the
Front row
homeowners,
seat.
get to know them, and,
Yeah.
it's awesome.
Yeah. And so how happy were they? Must have been so happy at the end of the week when the delivery was done, I guess you could say.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, I think they were super ecstatic. Sadly, the actual homeowner, wasn't able to be there because her
Oh.
sister passed, so she had to leave town,
Oh,
the second to last day. But, we did hear from her, and she was so happy, and, I mean, the joy. Ah, the joy, it breaks my heart sometimes, just how happy, um, these people are. Yeah.
yeah, and every day of their lives since will be better because of it, right?
Yeah, I'm super excited to 'cause I'm going back the end of June this year, so I'm gonna go visit them. Uh, Super excited to see how they're doing and see how they're enjoying their new home in a way.
Is there something that they specifically mentioned after you guys finished that stood out to them? Like one of the things that they got really emotional about, or that they I don't know, something that really stood out to them that they mentioned.
Um, I mean, they said so many times, like, they just love the new cabinets because it's a I think they're a really nice brand of semi-custom cabinetry, that we used, and we refinished their island that they had in there, painted it all white, put butcher block countertops on it, and they absolutely loved that. I mean, they just said, "This looks so good. This is amazing. Thank you." It was just like them saying the same things out of
Yeah,
gratitude over and over.
overwhelming. Is there, if you're going to go back, as you said, then well, I mean, to do another project eventually, what is there anything you would do differently the next time?
I personally would probably want to get to know, and it's always like I want to get to know the homeowners a little bit better. I want
Yeah,
to be able to interact with them and really to just get to know them and kind of I don't want to say mentor, but like fellowship with them and just have a great time with them. I mean, obviously the work is important, but I think getting to know the homeowners and getting to talk to them, especially on a spiritual level, is super important. I think that's the most
yeah,
important part about a week.
nice. And was there something? how can I say? Was there maybe a challenge or something you were concerned about before going in to the project, and how did it turn out?
Oh, man, I had so many concerns because going into the project, I didn't know anything about it. It wasn't
Yeah.
like I went in there and
This was the first
looked
time you've
at
done
it.
yeah,
Yeah, it was the first time I did a kitchen remodel with the camp. I built some decks a couple years past, and redid a roof 2 years before. But it's always like you walk in, you don't know what you're expecting. You're walking into anything at all. Like you just don't know. I don't know. Uh, it's part of the beauty of it, I guess.
yeah,
Is
yeah.
you don't know. There's not a lot of prep. You bring as many different tools as you can, and see what you can do from there.
Terrific. Well, Elan, thank you so much for telling this beautiful story of a kitchen remodel that you guys did at the camp, as part of the camp, I should say. It's fantastic. Where can people find out about you online?
Yeah, I'm on. You can find me. I have a little Google page. You can also find me on Facebook or Instagram.
What's the
Way
number to call?
Woodworks
Yeah,
904-419-7073. Reach out to me. Regular business hours preferably, but
sure.
and if I don't answer, I'll get back to you. But yeah, that's or the way woodworks at gmail.com if you want to email.
Terrific. So I'm going to put all that information in the show notes so people can get it down there as well. But again, thank you so much for this beautiful story and for sharing your sharing the transformation with us. I really appreciate it. It was great to talk to you.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Now that you know how to pull off a successful kitchen remodel in just 1 week, let me show you how to attract clients who really value fast, impactful remodeling services. I've created something special you can try with just a few clicks. It's a special return on investment calculator that shows you how many ideal kitchen remodeling clients you could get by applying a simple yet often overlooked marketing strategy. Stop leaving money on the table. Click the link below to access the ROI calculator right now. Are you thinking about offering 1 week kitchen remodels to your clients? Here's what you'll need to pull it off. First up, plan ahead. Companies like 1 Week Kitchens over in Pennsylvania keep materials on hand so there's no waiting around for deliveries. Pre-ordering everything such as cabinets, fixtures, even paint means fewer last-minute surprises. And whenever possible, simplify the design by using standard cabinet sizes and readily available components. You may also want to limit clients' options to materials you can get locally. Second, build a schedule that works like clockwork. Prince & Sons in Raleigh-Durham, North Carolina say clear daily planning is what keeps their projects on track. Know exactly what needs to happen each day and in what order. If drywall goes in on Tuesday, your cabinets should be staged and ready for install on Wednesday. Then, keep everyone aligned with strong communication. Hold short daily check-ins. Make sure every crew member understands their tasks, timelines, and who to go to when something stalls. The smoother your communication, the fewer delays you'll face. Also, avoid introducing complexity midway through the project. A 1 week project is not the time for experiments. Finally, never cut corners just to stay on schedule. Clients may forget the timeline later, but they'll remember the quality of your work. A kitchen that's clean, safe, and functional, delivered quickly but done right, is the real win. Nail these fundamentals, and you'll be known for fast, beautiful kitchen remodels your clients can't stop talking about. Which part of Elan's story inspired you most? The speed, the teamwork, or the impact? Have you done any charity remodels? And if so, how did they turn out? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Also below, don't forget the special ROI calculator that's waiting for you. Thanks again to Elan Wright of the Way Woodworks in Callahan, Florida, for the kitchen remodeling success story and insights. And thank you for watching and listening to today's episode of Kitchen Remodeling Success Stories, where each success story helps you build a better kitchen and a better kitchen remodeling business.